That's one recommendation I will not be putting up. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good start. Councillor Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I can probably imagine you can anticipate what I'm going to say. And in that anticipation, I can imagine that you were thinking in your mind, I've probably found the sweet spot because there's Elf, he's upset, Chris is upset, you know, I've got this sort of middle ground. But frankly, sir, and I don't wish to be disrespectful.
Oh, don't then. Let's just keep focused, all right?
Well,
don't
you
even
can
go there.
Draw your own conclusions. Yeah. But I think this is too little, too late. The ratepayers are looking for us to find operational efficiencies in every sphere of our work. Now, there's issues about making good decisions, quality, policy-based decisions. Have we got the right governance structure to deliver those? I say not. I think it's too clumsy still, I think it's too unwieldy, and I think it's too costly. We've charged, and a little bit later in the agenda, we're going to have a chat about the delegations for the CEO, but we have charged the CEO with finding annual operational efficiencies of some $264 million. Now, I want to know, we can't deal with these things in isolation. I think it creates a disconnect. Is this the right structure to derive the most benefit in an operational sense from our staff, for councillors to get the right information, for us to be sufficiently nimble to respond to the strategic issues of the day, to be able to meet, come together, make fast, you know, you're always talking about pace and momentum, to make those decisions. Is this the right structure? With great respect, I say not. I've been asking for this reform for some 4 or 5 years now. And again, I just reiterate, I think it's too little, too late. You're just tinkering with the edges. We are not going to make those operational efficiencies, I believe, to the degree that the public want of us. And I just am really disappointed. If this is the best we can do, I say return to sender. It's just not good enough.
Good. But of course, I want to remind you, Councillor Chris Fletcher, that it is the Mayor's prerogative under the legislation to set the committee structure. And you can keep on quibbling about that, but it is what it is. I have tried to respond to councillors' concerns about how much time is available in the agenda.
I understand the sensitivities that you're dealing with, but I think the public expect more.
Oh, well, there you go. Councillor Casey. Councillor Cathy.
I speak in support of my colleague, Councillor Filipaina, and I'm going to give you a lecture on Community Development Safety 101 because you have never been at my committee and neither has the report writer, and neither has there been any discussion with me as chair as to how my committee is run, and therefore I take great exception to any reduction in numbers of meetings of that committee. So let me tell you about it. It has 11 members. Those 11 members met at the beginning of the term with staff and myself to look at staff's work programme. So for you, Mr. Chairman, to impose what you say now is to be better aligned with council agenda. Well, actually, my committee is fully aligned with council agenda. So we set the agenda at the beginning of the year. The themes are allocated. The themes all relate to work currently being done within the council in my portfolio area. Not only do we set the themes, we have portfolio holders which people opt into. So they take care of an area. Why do we do that? Because we get more done. There's more thrust. There's more adventure in the committee because the portfolio holder chairs that part of the meeting and can make public comments. So we amend standing orders or we disregard standing orders at our meetings. So that's basically it. We have set the themes for the year. We have the dates. We leave the centre. We leave the centre, just like Alf's committee. We take the committee out to the people, and you know what? It's great. We have had 17 different parties at public forum, Mr. Chairman, if you're at all interested.
Yeah, I'm actually listening, Councillor King.
OK, thank you. 17 parties at public forum. We have audiences. We have as many as 50 or 60 people turn up when we're out in the sticks because we're welcome there. The issues are real to the people of Auckland. This is, I think, probably the most important committee that we've got in terms of public knowingly coming along and engaging with us. And that's what's missing. You're not getting it. People see the council as, you know, in that big ASB building, out of touch. Well, do you know what? The committees that report are in touch. And, you know, you'll hear from each of us, because I think you're going to get the same speech from everybody who is in a reporting committee. The problem might be in the bigger committees when we have 15-hour meetings of people playing to the new cameras. Maybe that's the chairs of those committees should look to themselves about making them a bit sharper, a bit quicker, and getting through them a bit better. Because certainly the committees that I go to, the reporting committees, keep to time, and they're well received by the public, well received by the participants, and well received by the people who turn up. And Councillor Fletcher's not on that committee, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But the people who are on them, I have never heard anybody complain. We get a full turnout. You can't say that for the committees of the whole. The last meeting we had, everybody was there. When was the last time a committee of the whole had everybody there? I don't know what people do with their time. They certainly just do not turn up, some of them. I'm getting off the subject.
Yeah,
Back
good.
to community development and safety. My plea is for this to be voted down, and we stay with what we've got, but we take the chairs into a room and give them some instruction about how to chair committees of the whole and get through the timetable a bit better. So please do not restrict the reporting committees, because they are what makes this council work.
Excellent. Thank you. Councillor John Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I've got an amendment up there that's been seconded also. So do you want me to speak to that amendment now, or just speak generally?
I think that will be a good idea, Councillor John.
Yeah, speak generally.
Yeah, away you go.
Okay. And I guess, you know, at the outset, I think probably some of my comments will echo and develop some of the themes that have already emerged from a few of the speakers. But I mean, really, when I read through this report, it's sort of hard to conclude anything other than that this proposal really seeks to reduce the significance of these particular committees that are going to experience reductions in the frequency in which they're held. And I say that because you only have to look at some of the key phrases here, such as narrowing the focus, a few key deliverables. They're being scaled down. I mean, that's clear. It's been scaled down. And they're being scaled down against the opposition of the people who chair the committees and the people who are often the deputy chairs, and I would suggest the majority of the people who sit on the committees, if not all of them. And I heard what you've said, Mr. Mayor, about the drive for efficiency and, you know, making everything go better and give us all more time. But this is not the place to do it with these committees that do have a public focus to them. I mean, really. And it's contradictory, because you've got those comments about narrowing the focus and few key deliverables. Then we've got these committees will continue to act as the major community interface. I mean, really? You're providing fewer opportunities for them to interface with the community, and when they do on the 4 times during the year, they're going to be constrained by the increased amount of business that they have to get through. That's contradictory. And what it does really show, and I think Councillor Casey referred to it, is really the reduction of the council's operations is at the expense of that interface with the community. All these committees that I am, they are the only committees that genuinely interface with people in a kind of open manner in which people aren't getting rushed through at 4 minutes 30 seconds to finish up and get out the door. They have a chance to speak. They have a sense that people are listening to them. Questions are asked. There are follow-ups. There's an assurance given. So I think this is really a penny-wise, pound-foolish response that really cuts down our interface with the people that we're representing. And we can't afford to have that, Mr. Mayor. I mean, one of the criticisms that's levelled at the council, and, if we look at recent events, ports, QE2 Square, the stadiums, etc., it is that the public aren't getting aren't getting involved. They're not getting involved in consultation and decisions. And I would suggest that this is seen as a continuation of that, where the very committees that deal with the public are getting scaled back. So you'd say there's a common theme there. So I guess I would finish up by really saying, where is the demand for this coming? It's not coming from the chairs, it's not coming from the committee members. I mean, are we to believe that staff who are paid, unless staff only get paid when they go along to the meetings, do they? Because if they don't, then we've got a little bit of artificial cost effectiveness coming into that. We don't pay to use the venues. So I would suggest that the figures that have been bandied around about the cost of meetings are actually quite misleading. People are paid there to be there irrespective. When they're there, they're doing other work often, you see. So that's a bit of a ruse in my view. So I would urge people to back the other committees, whether you're on them or not. I happen to be on a disproportionate number of these committees. They're committees that I enjoy because you have a genuine sense of listening to people. You learn things. It's good for the council. It's good for a council that does need to up its public profile. This is a retrograde step. Listen to the committee chairs and don't tinker for the sake of whatever buttons it is that's supposedly getting saved, which I doubt if it is. As Councillor Casey said, if you want talking about time, being time efficient, then look at some of the meetings that drag on ad infinitum, you know, with lengthy soliloquies from the throne and multiple speakers and the rest. That's where the saving should be, not in these committees that occur on a rather infrequent basis as it is. So I would urge you to support that amendment and also the other committee chairs, you know, your fellow colleagues. Thanks.